Hello YouTube fans, here again. And I figure why not, I'm doing me on a marathon. Why not talk about this one? A tacit from West Haven, a hidden gem I would say, that being Deadly Fens. Say it again, Deadly Fens. Started in 1986, as we know West Haven didn't want to do any more than Nightmare on Elm Street, so we decided to do this film, that being Deadly Fens. Now, believe it or not, Deadly Fens was going to be like a love story. It was going to be similar to like Number Five is Alive, that be sort of circuit. He wanted to make a film like that about a lad, love of his life, sadly loses her life, and he turns her into a robot because he doesn't want to use her. And he wanted to make it more like a family film because at the time, Mess Chafin got sick of people looking at him for the man what did Nightmare on Elm Street, the man what did The Last House on the Left. The list goes on when it comes to horror films. He wanted to do something different. At the time, John Carpenter, a little bit earlier, made it big with the film Starman. So this would have been West Haven's version of Starman. But sadly to say, a lot of horror people, a lot of horror doofheads and people that love horror films wanted it to be horror, 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 horror. So what they did was they literally raped his film. They raped it. It wasn't the film that Wes Stephen wanted. They added in the blood, they added in the door, then they did all the violence. And you know what's so fucking funny? You know what's so fucking hilarious? These people, the same people what did and some of the violence in the classic film by Sylvester Stallone being fucking Chobra. I'm not making this shit up. They are the same producers who went to Chobra when it comes to the violence, same there. But in this film, I did all this fake blood and gore. That did a nightmare scene where the father gets stabbed in the neck and he's spitting blood out of his dorset. They added on a scene where blood spurting out everywhere. They added all this violence. It wasn't needed. I do admit the NBA did cut a scene out where Samantha throws a basketball and turns his woman's head into mud. It's in the film. There's a lot more where she's moving around like a chicken and there's blood spurting all over the fucking place. And so there's a lot of good interesting history about this film. A lot. Like original trailer shows a woman gets flung through a door. What it does is not in the film. It was the original death. But in the original trailer, you do actually see a deleted scene there. Bit interesting bit of history there. And let's come with the film. So it's to do this young lad, and he's with his mum. I'm not sure whether the mum's been up with the father or whatever. And they've got a robot called Mimi. Cut the story short, there's a bit of this dies down a rubber car, and Mimi gets him by the neck. And then when the mum and the son come along, it turns off, and the car thief fucks off. But then, like I say, it gets on with the film. They've got this robot like Mimi. You could say sort of like short circuit. You don't really know in the early 80s with modern robots. And it's an interesting story. This was a real robot. They built it, they made it, and basically it's based on this lad who's basically a risk kid. He does autopsies, I'm not making this shit up. He makes robots, he goes to an high school, he teaches people electronics. He's definitely a risk kid when it comes to electronics, right? And he meets a girl on the way with his friend, and he got ideas falling in love with this girl. And at first, it does friends, but he never does a love scene there. And the only problem is this girl is with a dad who's a single parent, and he's an asshole. He's a fucking asshole. He's worse off than a Freddy Cougar because he beats his daughter, he drinks a lot of beer, he slaps his daughter about, and so on. And what happens is, he's got his horrible neighbour and all. You might ever remember the actress. She played in the mum for your mummy from the train. She played in the Doolittle. She's been out a few things. Sad to say, she's no longer with us. And she doesn't like Mimi the robot. So near Halloween, she gets a shot done and blows the robot up. And you feel for the lad because you never know he spent a lot on that robot. He looked at that robot like one of his friends. You know what I mean? So what happened is the same night of Halloween. The daughter gets slapped around by the evil father. He knocks his fucking daughter down the stairs, and she becomes brain dead. She's in a lifeboat machine. And the father, to cover his back, knowing what he's done, so what a fucking scumbag he is, he writes for her death. And she sadly dies. But what the lad does is he steals the dough, right? Goes to Manfor. He has the robotic tip, which is supposed to be the tip of the brain. He gets his mate to help him out, and he puts a tip into where her brain is. And apparently it brings her back to life. The only problem is it turns into a fucking psycho. I'm not making this shit up. She turns into a fucking psycho. So the first thing she does is she breaks into her father's house and she kills her dad. Gets him, snaps his fucking neck, and sticks his head in a fucking oven. That do some scene. Then another halfway through the film, he gets the woman, the one that killed Mimi, gets a basket ball, the bit I just said, fucking folds it, and turns a fucking head into mush. And I love it. Blood stir and everything. Head bobbing around like a fucking chicken. I do remember that the actors that paid to Manford were laughing at that scene. So it was like a comical scene, the way it was done, the effect. And the actors moved on to a lot of other things after this. If you remember Buffy the Vampire Slayer, not the TV series, but in the early 90s, she was the original one that played Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Bit of interesting history there. But the lad's falling for her and he knows what she's doing. His mate is going to dash up because he feels bad about it. They don't get into a fight. He hits his mate. And then Mimi breaks out, attacks the lad, but looking enough doesn't kill him. So the story looks sort of there's a bully halfway through the film. There's this bully, right? And he gets hold of the lad, and he's trying to lay into him, and Mimi comes out as Samantha. And she gets the lad, fucking folds him and kills him. Right? And so on. Then the lad meets Samantha. This bit's sort of a sad scene because the memory sort of comes back. You know, she's thinking like Samantha. She's not thinking like Mimi the robot. But these cops come out, they shoot her, and she dies again. And it's a sad scene. I felt it's left it like that. Even though it's sad, should have left it like that. Because what spoiled it is the stupid ending they throw in. So it's a bit of horror. Because after that, right, you've got the lad. And he breaks in to go to the place where her body is. He's going to take her again. Then somehow she comes alive and Mimi comes out. This robotic fucking head comes out of the face. Gets the lad by the neck. You don't see it. You get the sound effects of the neck getting broken. You hear the voice going, Mimi. And then it fucking ends. And my patient ends. Because it didn't need that silly fucking ending. It did not need a stupid ending where the lad's breaking in to find the love of his life for her to turn into a fucking robot and break his fucking neck. That ending was added on just so people can get some more horror. And it wasn't the film. It was not the film what Wes Craven wanted. And it's the same. It's the same. And sad to say, over the years, Wes Craven dismissed the film. It's very hard to get on DVD in this country. It was very popular in the golden days of the VHS. That movie being Deadly Friends. That's right. Deadly Friends come out in 1986, so that repeating myself, and it's a good one. I still enjoy the film. It's not a bad film. I wouldn't like to say Wes Craven's worst, but I wouldn't say it was his best. Because there are bits where he wanted to make this more of a family film. Didn't want it to be an 18. He wanted it to be a PT. He wanted to make it like a love story, and because he was pushed into horror, they basically raped his film. Like I said, they make it more into a fucking horror movie. They made Deadly Friends more of an horror film, and it wasn't going to be an horror film. Believe it or not, it was going to be a science fiction sort of a family film. But because they owed it to horror, it became an horror film. And the big originally, it wasn't going to go Deadly Friends. It was going to go something like Best Friends or something like that. But because of the name Wes Craven, Last House on the Left, Hills Have Eyes, the list goes on, to turn the film into a fucking horror film. They turned the film, which was going to go Best Friend, into Deadly Friend, and throwing loads of blood and gore. The bit of the father gets stabbed in the neck, and it's a nightmare, and he's stirring blood. Horror. The bit of the woman's head gets smashed in. Horror. The fucking ending. Just going to repeat myself. The robot bit. Fucking horror. And that's what they wanted to make the film. They just turned it into a fucking horror film. And originally, like I said, Deadly Friends, even though originally it was going to be called Best Friends, they turned it into a fucking horror film. They turned it into a fucking horror film. But nevertheless, I still like it. It's still not a bad film. Still not a bad film. It's very hard to get in this country on DVD. If you can find it in this country, you're a fucking dudden. You can find it online in some other ways. I'm not going to say how. But under then, that's Dead Defense. I still don't think it's a bad film for what it is. A 3-star rating. There's a bit of me buy out. I'd love to see what it originally was going to be like. But I know a lot of history. When I look up a lot of history of the film Deadly Friends, look it up. There's a lot, and I mean a lot of good history about the film. But into them, be smart, be safe, or do some more movies, more tests, and more things that people want. But into them, be smart, be safe. See you later.